Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. We are back for day 2 of our Disney Attractions Tournament Bracket Challenge. Today, we're going to go through the first rounds in quadrants 3 and 4. Yesterday's video, we went through quadrants 1 and 2's first round. So if you missed that one, I'll throw a link somewhere in here for you to go back and check that out to make sure you're caught up to steam. If you haven't done so already, there's also going to be a link in the description to go to allears.net. They're the ones who came up with this bracket. You can go print up your copy, follow along with the tournament so you can see what I got wrong, what you got right, and how stupid I am. I keep talking about people telling me how stupid I am. I should probably stop that. I don't want you to tell me how stupid I am. I'm sensitive. I don't need to hear those type of things. So please, be nice. We all need to be nice right now. Please, I'm begging you. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the matchups and see who's going on in the tournament today. Today's first matchup sees the Jungle Cruise going head-to-head with Triceratops Spin. Now see, just by saying that, I made Triceratops Spin sound more exciting than it actually is. The Jungle Cruise is going to win this one. It's going to be a pretty easy win. It's just a fun ride, you know. It's one of those rides that young Matt probably was really bored going on, but old Matt now gets the jokes and thinks it's really funny and gets a kick out of it. So Jungle Cruise goes on. Although somebody told me that the jokes didn't come in at a certain point in time. So there's a chance when I went on it as a kid, they weren't doing the jokes yet. And it's just kind of a boat ride through a jungle with some animatronics. So maybe that's why I wasn't as fond of it as a kid as I am now. I don't know. It's lost to time. There's no way to tell. There's nothing on the internet about Disney World. I looked, I tried, sorry. Get off my back. It's not on the internet. Jungle Cruise wins. God. Our next matchup sees the Hall of Presidents go up against Expedition Everest. Now, the Hall of Presidents, perfectly fine attraction. Really nice animatronics that look like the presidents, give you a little kind of walk through history. But Expedition Everest is a very thrilling, very fun roller coaster. And it's not much of a competition in my book. So this is a pretty easy win. Everest moves on to the next round. Our next matchup in the first round has Star Tours going head-to-head with Big Thunder Mountain. Now this is a really tough first round matchup. They didn't actually, when they made this bracket, like numerically list what the seeds were. So I don't know that they did like the kind of traditional 1 versus 16 where they actually always put a really high ranked ride against a really low ranked ride for the first couple rounds. This might have been classified as like, I don't know, like an 8 versus 9 matchup if they were doing it that way. Because this is really a really tough decision for me. These are two of my favorite attractions. They're two I always want to ride when I'm at the parks. I would have liked to seen these maybe go against something crappier in the first round because neither one of these really deserves to be out in the first round. But ultimately, if I have to come down to it, Star Tours, it's really just a simulator ride. It's a great simulator ride. They've done some great stuff to really innovate it. They've updated it over the years with the new scenes, the new elements to keep it modern. But Big Thunder Mountain's classic Disney roller coaster. Wildest ride in the wilderness, best hold on to your hats and glasses, all that good stuff. I got to go with Big Thunder Mountain on this one. On to the next round. The next matchup we have is Astro Orbiter versus The Seas with Nemo and Friends. Now see, I think these two should have been split up and these two should have maybe matched up with Star Tours and Big Thunder Mountain. I don't know that either one of these particularly deserves to go through to the next round because they're both fine, but they're not, they probably wouldn't. If I was going to just rank numerically the, attractions, I don't think either one of these would be in the top 32, but one of them is going to get to go through to that round just, because that's the way the brackets were structured. And I'm going to pick Astro Orbiter, but for one reason. And once again, there's a story behind it. So about a couple years ago, I got to go to the Disney World for the first time in over 10 years. So it was a whirlwind trip of just a few days, racing around, trying to get on as many attractions as we possibly can, just to make sure me and a friend of mine who I was able to go down there with. We get to Astro Orbiter. It's late at night. It's one of the few things we hadn't got to do yet. So it's, really, just kind of doing it to do it. And I don't think either one of us, I hadn't been to the parks in 10 plus years at that point. My friend had been a few times, but I don't think that was a ride he had done in a while. So the queue to Astro Orbiter is downstairs from where the actual ride is. The actual ride is very similar to like Dumbo or Magic Carpets of Aladdin, but it's elevated, so it's a little bit cooler than that because you're a little bit higher in the air, a little bit more exciting. You get some cool views of the park. So the way it works is you're waiting in the line downstairs, you come to an elevator. When you get to the elevator, that's when they kind of ask you, how many people in your party? So we say 2. And the guy says, do y'all want 1 bucket or 2, or 1 ship or 2? I don't remember what the exact terminology was, but we're just like 1, that's fine. We don't need to be in separate ones. That's cool. And he kind of gave us a weird look. And we were, by the time, like, well, that was a weird question. Why did he ask us? So he throws us in the elevator. We go up there. They send us to our ship. We get to the ship, and there's only 1 little bench seat inside the ship. There's no divide, no space where, you can sit separately. You just have to kind of sit together straddled, explaining why the cast member gave us such an odd look when we said we would be happy to share 1 ship. So we rode the ride, laughed our heads off about how stupid we were for getting ourselves in that predicament, got off and vowed to never do it again. But it was a funny story. It's, one I'll always remember. So for that reason, Astro Orbiter gets to advance to the next round. Our next matchup, another really tough first round matchup. I really disagree with some of the seating, some of the arrangements here, because these are 2 really, really fun rides, and I don't think it's very fair that one of them has to go out in the first round so early, but I'm just going off the bracket I got. It's all I can do, folks. Don't shoot the messenger. But we got Frozen Ever After, which is the Frozen re-theme of the old Maelstrom ride in Norway, and we have Toy Story Mania. As I mentioned before, Toy Story Mania, very similar to Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. It's like almost like a video game come to life where you're trying to shoot targets on a 3D screen and score points and have fun. Frozen, it's got some great animatronics, got some good bumps from those Frozen songs that we all know and love. Ultimately, this one's going to get me a little heat, but I got to pick Toy Story Mania. It's kind of, to me, a little bit of an upgrade over Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. So if that ride goes through, it kind of feels to me like Toy Story Mania has to go through too. So I put both Frozen attractions out, and I'm sorry. I'm a fan of the franchise. It's just, they got some tough matchups here. Whoever made this bracket must not like Frozen, must have wanted to make it tough on them. So sorry, Toy Story Mania advances. Our next matchup sees 2 of Walt Disney World's classic laid-back leisurely transportation systems go head-to-head. We have the Walt Disney World Railroad going head-to-head with the People Mover. Now this one, I'm going to be honest, I love the People Mover. It's a fun ride. It's perfect for midday at Magic Kingdom when you've been walking around, you want to take a load off, sit down, relax, but still have some cool experiences because you get to ride around, see a lot of cool views of the park. You kind of get that little backstage look at Space Mountain, which is always fun. Walt Disney World Railroad, it's great. I feel bad eliminating it because, trains are kind of Walt Disney's thing, so that really feels like there's a deep connection to him when you're talking about the railroad. But it's just, the People Mover is great. It's just fun. I enjoy it more. That's, all that I can say about it. People Mover, I got to go with the People Mover. On to the next round. Our next matchup sees the Voyage of the Little Mermaid go head-to-head with Splash Mountain. Now, this isn't a very fair matchup. Splash Mountain, I think, is one of the best overall attractions Disney has produced. Voyage of the Little Mermaid, great stage show. Like a lot of the shows, it's a great way to just get out of the heat for a little while, kill some time, especially if the little ones are getting a little reckless and tired, just throw them in a seat for a little while and watch it. But Splash Mountain, it's definitely one of the top attractions. This definitely feels like if this was seated properly, this would probably be a 1-16 style matchup, and 16s just don't have much of a chance against 1 seed. So as always, the 1 seed goes through. Splash Mountain advances to the next round. Next up, we have the Grand Fiesta Tour versus Kilimanjaro Safaris. Now, this is another one, if I'd done this bracket, even, 3, 4, 5 years ago, this is a matchup that would have gone the complete opposite way of it is now. I don't know that I even knew the Grand Fiesta Tour existed 4 or 5 years ago. It's a really unique attraction. It's in the back of the Mexican Pavilion. It's not listed for fast passes. It's not listed on wait times. And I think that's basically because it's always a walk-on. You just always get to just walk right on it and jump on your boat ride and go on down the river and enjoy Donald Duck's pursuit of an attractive Mexican lady. That's legitimately what the ride is about, is like Donald Duck running after trying to chase this attractive Mexican lady and his two bandmates trying to catch him because they have a show to do. It's a fun attraction. It's also fun to take people on there and convince them that there's a huge 7-foot drop coming. Because like I said, a lot of people don't even know it exists, so you can really convince people the best part of this ride is the drop, the best part of the ride is the drop, the drop's coming, let's go! But there's no drop. Don't tell anybody. Actually, I'll probably cut that part out. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. Editing sucks. I don't know how much I'm going to edit this. Kilimanjaro's fun. You know, especially if you catch it at the right time, you get to see a lot of great animals. Kills about 30 minutes out of your day, though, so it's kind of long, but sometimes that's better. You know, sometimes, a longer attraction, especially if it's, if you get a 30-minute ride where you get to see a lot of the animals, it's great. But if you go 30 minutes and you're at a bad time and the animals aren't out, it can sometimes be bad. So, but Grand Fiesta Tour is always the same. If you're the type of person who, likes to partake in adult beverages, you can always grab a margarita on your way onto the Grand Fiesta Tour. Half the time the cast members aren't even paying attention, so you can just plop down in your boat and sip on your margarita while you're going down the river. I don't particularly do that, but, if you do, more power to you. Go do it on the Grand Fiesta Tour as it sails down the river on into the next round. All right, folks, this is the one we've been waiting for. The next matchup is the Rock and Roller Coaster versus the Barnstormer. Now, you've heard me reference there's one other ride that might be comparable to Navi River Journey in terms of rides I hate the most. And it is not Rock and Roller Coaster, it's the Barnstormer. The Barnstormer sucks. Maybe if you're like a little kid, you'd like it, because kids need their roller coasters too, but I don't really care about kids at the park. I care about me. This is my time. I paid the money to go to the park. I want to ride the fun stuff. I'm almost positive the last couple times that I rode Barnstormer, it was because the people I was with knew I didn't want to ride it, so they forced me to ride it. I would actually say, though, I'd probably put it ahead of Navi River Journey, just because you rarely have to wait more than 20, 30 minutes to get on it, and it only lasts about a minute. So ultimately, as much as it sucks, it's not going to take up too much of your day. Whereas Navi River Journey, you wait an hour for it, more, and it sucks. So Barnstormer beats Navi River Journey. Wait, that's not what the matchup was. My bad. It's Barnstormer versus Rock and Roller Coaster. Tough one. I guess I'll go with Rock and Roller Coaster. Rock and Roller Coaster on to the next round. Our next matchup sees Avatar Flight of Passage going up against Mickey's PhilharMagic. Now, Mickey's PhilharMagic is it's a fun show, little 3D, 4D type show. Disney's done a really good job of creating those over the years, whether it be Tough to Be a Bug, Muppets, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids back in the day. PhilharMagic is kind of the lower end of those type shows. It's good, it's fun. It's another one where, I have no problem going in there if I'm tired and want to rest my feet and get in some air conditioning for 15 minutes, but it's not one I prioritize. On the other hand, Flight of Passage is, an incredible ride. It's beautiful, well made visually. It's kind of like Soarin', but cranked up a little bit. They added a little bit more interactive elements to it. It's 3D. It's got a great pre-show. The queue area looks like it's straight out of the movies. So the whole experience of Pandora, Flight of Passage is really great. PhilharMagic, fine. But for this one, Flight of Passage. I almost said Flight of Magic. That might be something. Write that down. I don't know what it is, but it might be something. Flight of Passage on to the next round. Next up, we've got Mission Space versus Enchanted Tales with Belle. I don't know what Enchanted Tales with Belle is. I never heard of it till I saw this tournament, but I Googled a picture, and this is what came up, so I put it up here. Looks like kids get to hang out with Belle. There's an adult back here doing something. That would be, I guess, what I would have to do if I went to this attraction. I don't know what it is, so I can't really give it any credit. Mission Space, I'm not, once again, motion sickness, not a problem for me. I actually, kind of liked centrifuge rides at the fair when I was a kid. I think I've ridden Mission Space twice because most of the time when I go, the people I'm with don't want to ride a ride like that, but I'm fine with it. I enjoyed it the times I've been on it. But I don't know what Enchanted Tales with Belle is. So Mission Space goes on to the next round. Is this still in the parks? Let me know in the comments below what this is, because I have no idea what this is. Down there, please. All right, this next one, another interesting kind of pairing for the first round. You've got Seven Dwarfs Mine Train versus Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the brand newest attraction in Walt Disney World. Just opened right before the unfortunate closures of the park came about. Much like Rise of the Resistance, I haven't ridden it, so I'm not going to put it through. But it's very interesting they paired these two up because this is brand new. The reviews for it have all been great. And on the other hand, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, is probably the most popular attraction right now in the Magic Kingdom. It always has a, significant wait time, and it's actually, it's a pretty fun ride. So it's kind of interesting these two were paired. This feels like two that should have been a little bit higher seeds going up against easier first round matchups. It's kind of another one of those that I wouldn't have agreed with, that I wouldn't have made. But I was never going to put Runaway Railway through since I haven't experienced it yet. So even though it, from what I've heard of Runaway Railway, this would be, I can't say Runaway Railway. Had I ridden it, from everything I've heard, this would have been a tougher matchup than it actually is, because by default, Snow White, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train goes over to the next round. If you haven't heard the song from this, you should check it out. It's catchy as all get out. It goes like, nothing can stop us now. I can't do a Mickey Mouse. My dad can do a great Donald Duck. I'm gonna have to get him on video sometime doing Donald Duck. Write that down. We need to get my dad on here doing Donald Duck. Just write it down. Can you do anything I ask? Please, just once. Never mind. All right, our next matchup is Primeval Whirl against Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm a person. I can ride the teacups. I enjoy them. They're perfectly fine, but they're not my favorite. Primeval Whirl is basically a teacup ride as a roller coaster. So I like teacups. They're fine. I really like roller coasters, so you kind of put them two together. That's an attraction I like. And Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor is fine. They do a good job of improvising and kind of bringing the audience into it and making it entertaining, but a roller coaster where you're spinning, you don't know what's happening, you're in a teacup while you're spinning, it's great. But unfortunately, it seems to have some mechanical issues. It's moved to seasonal operation, which kind of stinks. I was lucky enough to ride it before it kind of went to being a less than frequent active ride, but I like it. I think it's a little bit underrated, but it's my choice. Primeval Whirl, on to the next round. Next up, we've got Under the Sea with Ariel, and we have Soarin'. Good matchup, Under the Sea, it's a good modern dark ride. It's got a lot of the flavor, a lot of the feel of the traditional Disney dark rides. It could easily, if you didn't know that Little Mermaids came out in the late 80s, you might think it was a day one, attraction, because it feels a lot like Peter Pan. It feels a lot like some of those old classic dark rides. But Soarin' is kind of like one of those rides that kind of just, when it came out, it took stuff to the next level. There's just, certain attractions in Disney's history where it wasn't just doing what they'd done before. It was doing something new and kind of innovative. And Soarin' was kind of that. It's kind of always, even as more technologies come along, more advancements come along, Soarin's kind of always held that place for what it did those first few times. People loved the pre-show with the guy from The Tick. I can't remember his name, but he does a little great spiel. It's fun. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The visuals are amazing. You get a little thrill. It's kind of a thrill ride that's not really a thrill ride. They kind of secretly make it feel a little more thrilling than what it actually is. But it's cool. A ride I very much enjoy. So it takes out the Little Mermaid, and it goes to the next round. Our next matchup, Muppet Vision 3D against Magic Carpets of Aladdin. Full disclosure, I'm almost positive I've never ridden the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, because I'm pretty sure it's just an Aladdin-themed version of Dumbo. For some reason in my head, I picture, and I don't know this is something I should probably have looked up, but in my research, I haven't found anything about Walt Disney World on the internet, as I mentioned before, so I would have been wasting my time if I tried to look it up. But In my head, I pictured Dumbo being where Aladdin is now. So I don't know if I'm just crazy and have a broken brain, or maybe Dumbo got moved over to where it is now because it fits in that area better than where it was before, and they rethemed the old Dumbo ride as an Aladdin ride. I don't know. Long story short, I've never ridden Aladdin. Muppets 3D, one of my favorite things in all the parks. Great show. I think the jokes and everything still hold up. You know, I've seen it every time I've been back to the park since I've been back in the last few years. I love it. I fear for it because it's in a kind of weird spot where it's just outside of Galaxy's Edge. It's sandwiched just between Galaxy's Edge and Star Tours. So you could easily see Disney, when they're ready to expand Galaxy's Edge, go, well, we need to connect the old Star Wars ride to the new Star Wars stuff, but we got this Muppets thing sitting right in the middle of it. You know, it's had a great run. You know, a lot of other shows haven't survived as long as it has. You know, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, I would put up there as being, you know, just as good as Muppets, but it's been long gone for quite a while, and Muppets is, you know, still holding on strong. I hope it continues for a while. I hope they can find a way to keep it. You know, it's a good thing that Disney now owns the Muppets, because I don't see them ever completely taking the Muppets out of the parks. You know, if they do decide to take out Muppet Vision 3D, I would see them relocating the Muppets or retheming something else to be in Muppets. So even if it goes away, I've got that to kind of hope for. But I love it. One of my favorite shows. You know, as I've mentioned, I'm not a big person on the shows, especially compared to rides, but this is one I will always check out when I'm in the park. So it goes on to the next round. And now we have our final matchup of the first round. We've got Test Track versus Finding Nemo the Musical. I didn't know what Finding Nemo the Musical was when I started this. When I looked up this picture, I discovered that it was a show at Animal Kingdom. Did not know that. Test Track, it's a fun ride. It was, you know, a perfect addition to Epcot when it came along, because it gave Epcot what it kind of was lacking, was a thrill ride. It's fun. You know, you get the fast little car ride, or especially when you hit that outside and you're going up to 60 plus miles per hour. I like the old version of Test Track better. I don't really like the kind of futuristic retheming they did with it, but you know, it's still a fun ride. Definitely still something that I prefer over a theatrical show that I did not know existed until I started doing this tournament. So Test Track advances to the next round, and that Test Track on to the next round. So that completely wraps up the first round of the Disney Attractions Tournament. What did you agree with? What did you disagree with? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, you subscribe to this channel, but also make sure you hit the little bell for notifications to make sure you get all the updates when new episodes post, because we're going to be back tomorrow with the next round of the tournament, and if you missed that, then come back Thursday for the round after that. You will be very confused. I promise you. Just take my word for it. Hit that bell. You will not regret it. Also, give me a thumbs up on this video to let me know you liked it, because I know you did. And if you say you didn't, you're nothing but a liar. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video and watch me ramble. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I'll see you tomorrow. But until we see each other again, as NWO Wolfpack member Sting famously said, don't stand so close to me. Good night.